Namaskar, good morning, all of you, my dear students. Last time we talked about the development, and today we are going to talk about preconditions of development in this social studies class. It's me, Vishnu Karki, your social studies teacher for Pabson Distance Education. And last time, in our last class, what we have discussed is what is development, how the development process is going on, how development is being conducted. Those things we have discussed. Like development is a positive and progressive change. Development is a social and economic changes, or socio-economic changes of the society, or socio-economic progress or transformation of the society is known as development. What we have discussed last time. That is the development. Now, to conduct the development, we need to work certain things, or we need to have a certain things as a preconditions, which we have briefly discussed last time. We have briefly discussed about peace, or this literacy, public participation, entrepreneurship, those things. Not only that much is sufficient for the development. We have discussed other things like good governance, or committed or visionary leadership, isn't it? Those things also are needed for the development. Those things we have discussed last time as a preconditions, isn't it? Or conditions of development or preconditions we have discussed last time. Now, especially preconditions or prerequisites, whatever we are telling. Now, today we are going to talk about the prerequisites of development. It means preconditions, prior conditions, what we should have for the development. We are going to talk about today. It means पूर्व शर्तहरू, विकासका पूर्व शर्तहरू, विकास हुनका लागि, समाजमा विकास गर्नका लागि त्यसमा पूर्व शर्तहरू के आवश्यक छन् भन्ने कुरा हामी आजको क्लासमा चाहिँ छलफल गर्नेछौँ. We will discuss about this. What are the prerequisites of developments? We already know that development is a continuous process. It is going on. It does not mean that, like continuous process does not mean that development takes place automatically. No, that is not. Development does not take automatically, or development won't be there automatically. The human, or we, the people, should conduct the development. We need to go for the development, or we need to manage the development. How to conduct the development? We need to focus on it. We need to manage it. So, development is a continuous process, no doubt, but it does not mean that it will be there in the society automatically. No, this is not. That is very first thing we need to remember. Then, what should we do? Means the human resource are the driving force to manage the development. Means we, people who are living in a certain society, or in a certain nation, or in this universe, we need to manage the development. Or the human resource, means we, people, are the driving force of the development, or very driving force to manage the development, to conduct the development, to plan for the development. So, human resource should be there. One, not only human resource is sufficient for the development, don't forget it, like there should be the capital or financial resources and natural resources at the same time. When we have these three resources, human or financial and natural, when we have these three resources, and if we mobilize these three resources appropriately, then there will be development. It means who manage that, who plan for that development, means simple, human. And to manage development, whatever we need, those things are called prerequisites of development. Okay, let's see. People, or we, human, are the responsible factors to manage the development, no doubt. But when we are going to manage the development, we need to have a certain things, isn't it? That means we need to have certain things. Those things are known as prerequisites of development. विकासका योजनाहरू बनाउँदाखेरि, विकासका परियोजनाहरू सञ्चालन गर्ने क्रममा त्योभन्दा पहिला त्यो हामीले एज अ ह्युमन वी निड टु म्यानेज. हामीले मानवीय संसाधनले चाहिँ अथवा मानिसहरूले नै म्यानेज गर्ने हो, पिपुलले म्यानेज गर्ने हो. तर त्यो म्यानेज गर्नका लागि चाहिने पूर्व शर्तहरू जे छन्, जे आवश्यक अलरेडी त्यहाँ हुनुपर्ने आवश्यकता छ, हो त्यसलाई चाहिँ हामी पूर्व शर्तहरू भन्छौँ. Or prerequisites of development we tell. Then prerequisites derived from two words, pre and requisites. Pre means prior, purva, prior. Requisites means something needed. It shows that something is needed for the development. That is prior. Paile nahi, isn't it? That is what the prerequisites of development is. Means whatever we need to manage the development, that is known as prior condition or the preconditions or prerequisites of development. That is the first thing we need to understand. Among these, one, literacy. This is most important. Literacy is the most important, isn't it? Simply, okay, let's say we need one bridge in a river. We plan, we feel that we need a bridge. But no one is able to what kind of bridge we can construct. Or the people who feel we need bridge, the people who are living there, no one is perfect or no one is known about the way to construct the bridge. Though people are there, all are there, but we don't know how to prepare the plan to construct one bridge. In this situation, development won't be there. So if you say the developed nations, isn't it? The literacy rate is high. If you see the developing nations or underdeveloped nations, literacy rate is very low. Like Nepal itself is a developing nation. See the literacy rate. And the most of the European nations like Finland, Denmark, German kind of nations or USA even, see there. Those are developed nations. See the literacy rate. Compare the literacy rate of those nations and our nation. Or compare the literacy rate of African countries, most of them, who are there in conflict, very least developed, underdeveloped. Why means? Because of the literacy. So humans are the driving force for the development. And when humans themselves are illiterate, how the development will go ahead? How the development will be conducted in that place? It's almost impossible. So this literacy is the very first prerequisites of the development. For the development of a society or of a nation, what we need to have is literacy we need to have. Our people should be aware. Our people should gain knowledge or they should have knowledge, training or a skill. Only skilled human resource, only knowledgeable people can conduct the development in the nation or in the society. So literacy, for the well-managed development of the society or any nation, first we need to have a human resource, no doubt. I already told you. Without human resource, without people, there is no any possibility of development at all. And human resource doesn't mean that any kind of human resource is sufficient for the development. No. Human resource with knowledge, with skill, training are the driving force. Human resource are the driving force, no doubt. But unskilled human resource are not the driving force at all. Though there will be the use of those human resources. But it does not mean that unskilled human resource can drive the development, can plan for the development. It's almost impossible. So Human resource with knowledge, with skill, with training, or with experience are the driving force for the development. And for this, at least, they need to be a literate. They need to be a literate. And they need literacy, or they need training of different kinds. Like, so all the persons are engineer, development won't be there, don't forget. Okay, 3 crore people are there here in our country, around 3 crore, not exactly. And all are engineers. No, development won't be there. All are doctors. No, there is no possibility of the development. Means how much human resource we need in a certain field, that much human resource we need to train in those fields. How much engineer we need, the government should have the data. Unfortunately, our government may not have, and most of our government agencies don't know how much engineers they need. But to manage or for the proper development, how much engineers we need to have? We need to produce that much. How much doctors we need? We need to produce that much. Isn't it? Means human resource development or HRD policy should be there. Isn't it? And that is the very first thing we need to manage. So skilled human resource is the very prior condition for the development. And simply literacy means traditionally or prior, or what we remember about literacy is simply literacy means ability to read and write. If someone is able to read and write, that means that person is literate. That is our definition. But at present, in the present world, literacy means not only the ability to read, write, and arithmetic calculation, but literacy means being conscious about the rights, responsibilities, relationship, and recreation. Whatever is there, let's recreate it. If a person is able to read and write, a person is able to arithmetic calculation, or person is well known about his rights and responsibilities, and the relationship, how to build up the relationship means how to build up the cooperations, harmony in the society, or managing relationship means creating a kind of cooperative environment in the society, and harmonious society should be built up, or that person should be able to do so and recreate something. Those persons are known as literate person. This is what the literacy means. And if you say, in addition, people needed various types of training and skills oriented knowledge for development. That means if the person is able to recreate something, if the person is able to, or person is very responsible, or he or she knows his or her responsibility, well, if the person is aware about rights and responsibilities, duties, and those persons are literate, and those persons are the driving force of the development. And that's not, that only is not the sufficient. Is not sufficient. Don't forget again. Being responsible, well known about the rights and duties and the responsibilities, and able to read and write, or are able or known, or the person know about arithmetic calculation and all these things, that's not only sufficient for the development. Again, what should be there then? In addition, that person should have training, knowledge, or skill about certain field. Like the person who is able to read and write, the person who is able for the arithmetic calculation, the person who is responsible, the person who is well known about the rights and duties, or the person has the capacity to recreate something, or the person is able for the recreation. Along with that, that person should have the knowledge, the skill, and training about certain field. Like an engineer, able to read and write. A doctor, able to read and write. Able for the arithmetic calculation. Very well known about rights and responsibilities. And the person know about the society and how to build up the relationship in the society and how to create a cooperative environment in the society, and knowledge that that person has the knowledge about the recreation. And the person who is engineer, it means he has the skill or training in a certain field. These kind of individual are the driving force of the nation or of the development. If those kind of persons, these kind of persons are there in the place where the planning is prepared, planning is being prepared, or overall development is going to manage, if those kind of persons are there in that place, only then development will be there in any nation or in society. Knowledge, skills, training with responsibilities. The person should be literate, educated, trained, skilled. Is not only sufficient. That person should be responsible. Responsible for his or her duty. Responsible for the development of the nation. Responsible for the progress of the society. And then only development will be there. This is what the literacy means. Only able to read and write is not sufficient in this time, in the present world, because of the technological innovations and inventions. Lots of challenges are there. We need to be able to manage it. This is what the literacy means. So without literacy, without knowledge and skill in the human resource, we cannot go for the development. So this literacy is the prior condition of the development, very first one. Second, public participation. See here. Secondly, public participation, let's talk about. Okay, one plan is there, or one road is going to construct in your locality, in your place. Okay, government allocate the budget. One contractor or construction company got the responsibility to it, or won the tender notice. Tender notice was published and that construction company got the responsibility to construct that. But the person who are living there in that place where road is constructing or going to construct, no one is aware about it. No one care about it. Isn't it? No one. You don't care. We don't care. Whole society does not care about it. And who is the contractor? How is the time period which is allocated for that person or that contractor or the construction company? No one care about it. No one is aware about it. And they need that or not, they don't know. They don't participate in that. When that was planned, during that time too, they don't participate. Or the people who are living in that locality, they don't participate. And people who are the consumer or the users of that development, people who are getting benefit from that development, they don't care about it. They don't know about it. Imagine the situation. Is that development will be beneficial? Will that development project will be completed in time? Will that development project will manage the quality or quantity? No, it's not possible. There is no any possibility of this. So public participation means when development is going to be conducted, when a development plan is preparing or is going to prepare, the persons who are living in that certain territory, the person who are the beneficiaries of that development, they should participate in that process. When development is planning, the people who are living in that locality, the persons who are beneficiaries of that development, they should participate in the process of planning, in the process of implementation, and in the process of preservation and protection, or that how to protect that project or how to preserve it, how to care of it. In this all the process, each and every individual who are living in a certain territory, they should participate. Otherwise, development won't be effective. This is what the public participation means. जनसहभागिता, पब्लिक पार्टिसिपेसनलाई जनसहभागिता भनिन्छ. जनसहभागिता भनेको जन भनेको जनता अर मानिसहरू जो त्यो सर्टेन टेरिटोरीमा बस्छन् र त्यो विकासको बेनिफिसियरी, फर्स्ट बेनिफिसियरी जुन एउटा हुम्लामा रोड कन्स्ट्रक्ट भयो भने त्यो हुम्लाका जनता, हुम्लामा बस्ने हुम्लावासीहरू नै त्यहाँको त्यो डेभलपमेन्टका चाहिँ त्यो विकासका चाहिँ साझेदार हुन्, अथवा उनीहरू नै सबैभन्दा पहिला चाहिँ बेनिफिट लिने अथवा त्यसको त्यो विकासको फाइदा लिने उनीहरू हुन् भनेपछि उनीहरूलाई त्यो त्यसको प्लानिङ गर्दाखेरिदेखि लिएर त्यसलाई त्यो कसरी डेभलप, कस्तो खालको रोड कन्स्ट्रक्ट गर्ने अथवा कुन एरियाबाट गर्नेदेखि लिएर सबै कुरा त्यो डेभलपमेन्ट प्रोसेसमा चाहिँ उनीहरू पार्टिसिपेट हुनुपर्छ. दिस इज वाट द डेभलपमेन्ट पब्लिक पार्टिसिपेसन इज. पब्लिक पार्टिसिपेसन भनेको त्यो. Public participation is another most important in prerequisites of the development, they said. And in any nation, government is the responsible to conduct or carry out the development works, no doubt. Government is responsible because we are paying the tax, government is collecting the tax. With that tax, government is going to conduct the development works. Means government is the very responsible institutions or agency for the development work around the nation. But it's not our responsibility, it is our responsibility. Or as a responsible citizen, we cannot say this development is only the responsibility of the government. We cannot say as a responsible citizen. What should we do? But the development work will not accomplish without the public participation. If we don't care about development, okay, we don't care about development, okay, it is the responsibility of the government, okay, government will do. And we are paying the tax, so government will conduct development because government has money. We are paying for that. If we feel like this, development won't be accomplished. Development process won't be completed. Isn't it? And what should we do to accomplish the development work in time? Means we should participate. Our responsibility is there. Our duty is there. That is what the public participation means. We need to participate. We need to care. We need to study of it. Okay, how the development process is going on, how the contractor is working, or the construction is going on, how this is being planned, how to plan it itself. The public should participate, isn't it? So public participation simply means people's voluntary involvement. Voluntary involvement in development process. Isn't it? Public participation simply means people's voluntary involvement. When we participate in development work, when we are going to observe, supervise, or when we are involving in that participant, in that development process, it's not payable. We may not be paid. Don't forget it. What is this? Means this is the voluntary participation. We participate voluntarily without paid. Isn't it? So this voluntary participation of the people or public in the development process is known as public participation. This is another prior condition of the development. We need to participate. Another is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship means vyavasayikta. We already know that for the proper development of nation, we need to exploit natural, financial, and human resources available. Whatever resources are available in our locality, in our area, those resources should be appropriately exploited. Does not mean that used haphazardly. Should be used or mobilized appropriately. That is the very first thing. And if resources are there, but no one is there to invest or to manage or to mobilize the resources, we cannot develop. Okay, for the development, we need to appropriately mobilize the resources which are available in a certain territory. But none of the persons are there who will take the risks and invest for the mobilization of the means and resources. We cannot develop the place. We cannot develop the nation. A person who undertakes the risks of starting a new business venture is called the entrepreneur. To know the entrepreneurship, first we need to know who are the entrepreneur. Means the person who take the risks to manage, to start new business are known as the entrepreneur. An entrepreneur create a firm or company which aggregates capital and labor in order to produce goods and services for profit. Means the person who is entrepreneur, the person who is taking risks to mobilize the resources available there and manage a firm, a company, and producing a goods and services. It means that person is going to give employment opportunity for many others, other individual, isn't it? The ability, the capacity to manage or to do this is known as entrepreneurship. The ability, the knowledge, the capacity to manage a firm, a company, and creating the employment opportunity for other is known as the entrepreneurship, isn't it? And from that goods and service which are being produced from that helps to gain the profit too, isn't it? Entrepreneurship is an important driver of economic growth and innovation. If entrepreneurship is not there, there won't be innovation. There won't be the growth. Due to the entrepreneurship, people are managing firm, companies, or business, trade. Because of that, economic growth is there. Not only that, innovation is there. For the more profit, they always search for another better option. How to gain more profit? And they search and search and search. Because of that, innovation is there. From very early age, like handloom to the modern technology. Or exchange of goods, from exchange of goods to the modern trade system. It is being developed. Why? Means because of the entrepreneurship in the person or individual. That capacity to gain the profit. And entrepreneurship is high risk, but also can high reward. No doubt, entrepreneurship is in a high risk, that is taking the high risk, but there is the high reward too. Another piece is one there. And this is the last one and most important prerequisites of the development or Vikas ka purva sharta. Peace is the absence of conflict and violence. If there is no conflict, there is no violence. That is peace. Peace brings prosperity, but violence brings misery, loss, and destruction. So, peace always brings the prosperity, but violence always brings misery, loss, and destruction. Take an example of 10-year war in our country from started from 2050 to Fagun 1st to ended after the second mass movement. In between this 10 year, see the destruction, see the loss of life and property, isn't it? See the misery which was created there. In that condition of war, there is no any possibility of development. No any development works where there in the very remote areas where violence was there or war was there. No possibility. You can see that. Peace requires for the secure life and development activities. Means peace means the secure life, and for the development activities, peace is required. One cannot get opportunity to use his or her skill and knowledge without peace. If there is no peace, we cannot use our skill, we cannot use our knowledge, isn't it? If people are not able to get peaceful environment to utilize their skill and knowledge properly, development is not possible. When the people who gain knowledge, who gain skill, if they are not getting peaceful environment for the mobilization or to utilize their knowledge and their skill, development is almost impossible things for us. For example, take an example of the 10-year long war. I already give you an example. Not only that, see most of the African nations, see the Middle East, some nations like Libya, like Syria. Can you imagine the development in Syria? Each and every day bombardment is there. Hundreds of people are being killed there because of that. And lots of infrastructures are being destroyed, road and everything, which are being destroyed there. Can you imagine the development there in that situation? It's almost impossible. So peace is another most important prerequisites of the development. So these are the 4 prerequisites of the development which we required prior for the development. This is what the prerequisites. Okay, in the next class we will talk about the infrastructures of the development. And today time is almost over. Thank you being with me for this whole period, and I think you have gained something from this class. Okay, bye bye for today. Namaskar.